Did you know that some nuts, yes, those tiny snacks we often grab without thinking, can actually help with memory and heart health, while others might be quietly doing more harm than good? Hey there, I'm really glad you're joining me today. If you're 65 or older and trying to stay healthy, active, and independent, this is going to be a friendly and helpful little chat. We're going to talk about 4 nuts that are great for your body and 4 you might want to steer clear of, especially if you're keeping an eye on things like blood pressure or cholesterol. Before we jump in, do me a small favor. Type 1 in the comments if you like this kind of video, or just type 0 if you think we can do better next time. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with a nut that many of you may already have in your kitchen. Almonds. These little brown gems aren't just tasty, they're packed with health benefits that are especially helpful for those of us in our golden years. Almonds are one of the best nuts for heart health. They contain healthy fats, the kind that helps lower bad cholesterol and support better blood flow. That means your heart doesn't have to work as hard to do its job. For older adults, keeping the heart strong and the blood pressure steady is a big part of staying independent and active. These nuts are also rich in magnesium, which helps maintain normal blood pressure. And let's not forget the vitamin E in almonds, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect memory and brain function. It's like giving your brain a little daily polish. Now, here's something interesting. Almonds contain a bit of calcium and phosphorus, both of which help keep bones strong. This is especially important as we age and want to prevent falls or fractures. So, when you think of almonds, think of support not just for your heart, but also for your bones and mind. Let me tell you a quick story. My neighbor, Mrs. Evelyn, who's 72, started adding a small handful of almonds to her morning oatmeal. She told me it helps her stay full longer and she doesn't get that mid-morning slump anymore. She even joked that she feels sharper when doing her crossword puzzles. Now, some folks might say, but almonds are high in calories or they're too hard to chew. That's a fair point. But here's the key: portion control and preparation. A small handful, about 8 to 10 almonds a day, is just enough to give you the benefits without overdoing it. And if chewing is a concern, try soaking them overnight or slicing them into thin pieces to sprinkle on soft foods like yogurt or porridge. The best time to eat almonds? Morning or as a midday snack. That way they give you energy and help you avoid reaching for less healthy treats. So, next time you reach into the pantry, think about those humble almonds. They're more than just a snack, they're tiny heart helpers, memory boosters, and bone builders. Now, let's move on to another nut that's just as powerful, the wonderful walnut. If almonds are the heart's best friend, then walnuts are like a warm hug for your brain. Their wrinkled little shells even look like tiny brains, and that's quite fitting, because walnuts are one of the best nuts for memory and brain health. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are healthy fats that support brain function and may help slow down age-related memory decline. For those of us over 65, that means walnuts could play a small part in keeping our minds sharper and clearer day by day. But that's not all. Walnuts also contain something called melatonin, which can help with sleep. And as many of you know, getting good rest becomes more precious as we age. A calm evening snack with a few walnuts might help you wind down more easily. They're also packed with polyphenols, natural compounds that can help reduce inflammation in the brain. This is important because some research suggests that inflammation may be linked to Alzheimer's disease. While walnuts aren't a cure, adding them to your diet is a gentle, natural way to support your cognitive health. I remember my Uncle John, who loved to snack on walnuts while reading the newspaper in the afternoon. He said they gave him a thinking boost before he tackled the crossword puzzle. It became a little ritual, and now I find myself doing the same. Now, you might be wondering, aren't walnuts a bit bitter or oily? That's true for some folks, but here's the trick. Try mixing a few into a fruit salad or blending them into a smoothie. Just 3 to 5 walnut halves a day are enough to get the benefits. And if whole walnuts are too tough, you can buy them pre-shelled and lightly chopped. Try enjoying walnuts in the afternoon or early evening, especially if you're looking for a gentle way to support your memory and sleep. So the next time you're planning your snacks, consider reaching for a few walnuts. They're more than just a treat, they're brain boosters in a shell. Now, let's keep going and take a look at the next nut on our list, the cheerful little pistachio. Pistachios might be small, but don't let their size fool you. These bright green nuts, often found in a little bowl at family gatherings, are packed with goodness for anyone, especially folks over 65. One of the biggest benefits of pistachios is how they can help lower blood pressure. That's right, these little green snacks can support healthy circulation, which helps ease the pressure on your heart and blood vessels. If you're watching your numbers, pistachios might be a smart snack to reach for. Pistachios are also wonderful for your eyes. They contain nutrients like lutein and zeaxanthin, which help protect against macular degeneration, a common eye issue that can make reading and driving harder as we age. Keeping our vision strong helps us stay independent longer, and enjoying pistachios might be one small way to do just that. And here's something sweet. Pistachios can be a friend to folks managing diabetes. They have a good balance of protein, fiber, and healthy fats, which helps keep blood sugar steady. That means fewer spikes and crashes and more stable energy throughout the day. I think of my friend Carol, who always keeps a small jar of pistachios in her purse. She says they're her emergency snack when she's out running errands or waiting at the doctor's office. They keep her full and focused without making her feel heavy. Now, some people worry about the salt in roasted pistachios or think they're a bit tricky to open. That's a fair concern, but you can find unsalted or lightly salted options and even pre-shelled pistachios in most grocery stores now. Just a small handful, about 30 pistachios, is a good daily portion. Try enjoying them mid-morning or as an afternoon snack. They're great on their own, or you can sprinkle them over a salad or mix them into a bit of low-fat yogurt. So next time you want a snack that's both colorful and caring, reach for a few pistachios. They're more than just a party treat, they're little protectors for your heart, eyes, and sugar levels. And now, let's discover a nut that's truly unique in its power. Let's talk about the mighty Brazil nut. Brazil nuts may not be the most common nut in your cupboard, but they're certainly worth getting to know, especially if you're over 65 and want to keep your body balanced and energized. What makes Brazil nuts so special? Just 1 or 2 of them a day can provide all the selenium your body needs. Selenium is a trace mineral that plays a quiet but powerful role in helping your thyroid, the tiny gland in your neck that controls your energy and metabolism. When the thyroid is working well, you tend to feel steadier, more alert, and less fatigued. Brazil nuts are also helpful for the nervous system. They contain healthy fats and antioxidants that support the tiny signals your brain sends to the rest of your body. This helps with coordination, memory, and even mood. Some people believe Brazil nuts may even help slow down certain signs of aging at the cellular level, like keeping your skin and tissues healthier over time. I remember visiting my cousin Helen in Florida last winter. Every morning, she'd take 2 Brazil nuts out of a glass jar by her coffee pot. "Just my daily dose of balance," she'd say with a smile. She swore they helped her stay calm and clear-headed, especially on busy days filled with grandkids and appointments. Of course, a few folks might raise their eyebrows. Aren't Brazil nuts too high in fat? Or can't you get too much selenium? And those are good questions. The key, again, is moderation. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day is enough. More than that regularly might not be helpful, so treat them like a natural supplement, not a snack to eat by the handful. You can enjoy them in the morning with your breakfast or even as a simple treat in the evening. They pair well with fruit or a bit of dark chocolate for a gentle dessert. So if you're looking for a nut that works quietly behind the scenes to support your body's deeper systems, give Brazil nuts a try. Sometimes the most powerful helpers come in the simplest packages. Now that we've covered the best nuts to enjoy, let's gently turn our attention to some that might not be the best choice, especially as we grow older. First up, peanuts. Many of us grew up eating peanut butter sandwiches or enjoying roasted peanuts at a baseball game. They're familiar, comforting, and often the go-to snack in a bowl on the coffee table. But here's the thing. Peanuts aren't actually true nuts. They're legumes, more closely related to beans, and that difference can matter. For one, peanuts are more likely to be contaminated with something called aflatoxins, a type of mold toxin that grows in warm, damp storage conditions. Over time, exposure to aflatoxins may increase the risk of liver problems and can cause inflammation in the body. For older adults who may already be managing inflammation due to arthritis or other conditions, this is something worth considering. Peanuts can also interact with certain medications, especially blood thinners. They contain compounds that may make these medications work differently, which can be dangerous if not monitored. If you're taking medication for your heart or circulation, it's worth having a chat with your doctor before snacking regularly on peanuts. Now, it's true that peanuts do have protein and healthy fats. Some people swear by a little peanut butter on whole grain toast in the morning. And that's not all bad, especially if the peanut butter is unsweetened and doesn't have hydrogenated oils. But for those over 65, the risks of inflammation, potential mold exposure, and medication interaction might outweigh the benefits. I recall Mr. Thomas, a sweet gentleman from our community center who used to love his salted peanuts in the evening. But after a bit of swelling and stomach upset, his doctor recommended switching to almonds or walnuts instead. He said he felt better within a few weeks and now keeps a jar of mixed tree nuts on the counter. If you still want a taste of peanuts, consider them an occasional treat, not a daily habit. And always choose high-quality, dry-roasted, unsalted peanuts stored in a cool, dry place. As always, balance and listening to your body are key. The goal is to enjoy what you eat while taking good care of your health. Now, let's move on to another nut that might sound healthy but needs a second look: cashews. Cashews have a lovely creamy texture and a sweet, buttery taste that brings back memories for many of us, perhaps of sharing a handful during the holidays or adding a few to a favorite family recipe. They're comforting, familiar, and often feel like a small indulgence. But as we get older and start paying more attention to how our bodies respond to different foods, cashews might not always be the best everyday companion, no matter how much we love them. One of the things many people don't realize is that cashews are surprisingly high in carbohydrates. That might not sound like a bad thing, but for those managing blood sugar levels, especially folks with diabetes or prediabetes, those carbs can cause unwanted spikes. Over time, this can make it harder to keep energy steady and maintain good control over your health. Cashews also contain oxalates. These are natural substances found in many plants, but in higher amounts, they can contribute to kidney stones, something no one wants to experience, especially in our later years. If you've had kidney stones before or have been told to watch your kidney health, it might be best to keep cashews off your regular snack list. Another lesser-known concern is that cashews may interfere with how our bodies digest protein. For seniors who need all the good nutrition they can get from food, this might mean missing out on essential building blocks for muscle, strength, and healing. Now, some people really love their cashews, and it's easy to understand why. My friend Linda, who's 68 and has always enjoyed a cozy evening routine, used to prepare herself a small bowl of roasted cashews to have with her chamomile tea while watching her favorite TV show. It was her little moment of calm at the end of the day. But over time, she noticed that after eating cashews, she often felt uncomfortably full and sometimes a bit bloated. Concerned, she mentioned it during a checkup with her dietitian. After reviewing her health goals and dietary needs, especially her mild kidney issues and efforts to manage her blood sugar, the dietitian suggested trying other nuts that were lower in carbohydrates and oxalates. Linda decided to switch to a gentle mix of pistachios and walnuts. A few weeks later, she told me she felt more energetic in the evenings and less weighed down after her snack. "I still enjoy my tea time," she said with a smile, "but now I feel better after it too." That said, if you truly enjoy cashews, the key is moderation. A small portion, just a few kernels, maybe 4 to 6, on occasion is unlikely to cause harm for most healthy adults. And if you eat them, try pairing them with foods high in fiber to slow down the effect on your blood sugar. Choose plain, unsalted cashews if possible, and avoid heavily roasted or flavored versions that may contain added sugars or oils. Remember, what works for one person might not work for another. The most important thing is listening to your body and making thoughtful, informed choices. Now, let's take a look at another seed that might seem harmless but deserves a second glance: sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds may remind you of summer picnics, baseball games, or even those quiet moments on the porch with a handful of salted seeds to snack on. They're crunchy, familiar, and often feel like a harmless little treat. But for older adults trying to manage their health carefully, sunflower seeds come with a few important red flags that we shouldn't ignore. To begin with, sunflower seeds are surprisingly high in carbohydrates. That means if you're watching your blood sugar or managing diabetes, snacking on them often or in large amounts could lead to unexpected sugar spikes. It's easy to lose track of how many you've eaten, especially when they're pre-shelled and salted. Another lesser-known concern is that sunflower seeds contain oxalates. These are natural substances found in many plants, but in higher amounts, they can contribute to kidney stones, something no one wants to experience, especially in our later years. If you've had kidney stones before or have been told to watch your kidney health, it might be best to keep sunflower seeds off your regular snack list. Another lesser-known concern is that sunflower seeds may interfere with how our bodies digest protein. For seniors who need all the good nutrition they can get from food, this might mean missing out on essential building blocks for muscle, strength, and healing. Now, some people really love their sunflower seeds, and it's easy to understand why. My friend Linda, who's 68 and has always enjoyed a cozy evening routine, used to prepare herself a small bowl of roasted sunflower seeds to have with her chamomile tea while watching her favorite TV show. It was her little moment of calm at the end of the day. But over time, she noticed that after eating sunflower seeds, she often felt uncomfortably full and sometimes a bit bloated. Concerned, she mentioned it during a checkup with her dietitian. After reviewing her health goals and dietary needs, especially her mild kidney issues and efforts to manage her blood sugar, the dietitian suggested trying other seeds that were lower in carbohydrates and oxalates. Linda decided to switch to a gentle mix of pistachios and walnuts. A few weeks later, she told me she felt more energetic in the evenings and less weighed down after her snack. "I still enjoy my tea time," she said with a smile, "but now I feel better after it too." That said, if you truly enjoy cashews, the key is moderation. A small portion, just a few kernels, maybe 4 to 6, on occasion is unlikely to cause harm for most healthy adults. And if you eat them, try pairing them with foods high in fiber or protein to slow down the effect on your blood sugar. Choose plain, unsalted cashews if possible, and avoid heavily roasted or flavored versions that may contain added sugars or oils. Remember, what works for one person might not work for another. The most important thing is listening to your body and making thoughtful, informed choices. Now, let's take a look at another seed that might seem harmless but deserves a second glance: sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds may remind you of summer picnics, baseball games, or even those quiet moments on the porch with a handful of salted seeds to snack on. They're crunchy, familiar, and often feel like a harmless little treat. But for older adults trying to manage their health carefully, sunflower seeds come with a few important red flags that we shouldn't ignore. To begin with, sunflower seeds are surprisingly high in carbohydrates. That means if you're watching your blood sugar or managing diabetes, snacking on them often or in large amounts could lead to unexpected sugar spikes. It's easy to lose track of how many you've eaten, especially when they're pre-shelled and salted. Another concern is that sunflower seeds are rich in oxalates. These compounds can build up in the body and contribute to the formation of kidney stones. For those who've ever experienced a kidney stone, you know it's not something you'd ever want to go through again. Older kidneys can be more sensitive, so we need to be mindful. And here's something else to consider. Some of the natural compounds in sunflower seeds may make it harder for your body to absorb protein properly. For seniors who need all the protein they can get to maintain muscle and energy, this can be a quiet but meaningful drawback. Of course, not everyone agrees. I recently spoke with George, a retired teacher who swore by his afternoon sunflower seed snack. He said it kept his hands busy and gave him a sense of routine. But after a bout of kidney discomfort and a few visits to the doctor, he learned the seeds weren't doing him any favors. With some gentle guidance, he transitioned to a blend of almonds and pumpkin seeds, lower in oxalates and easier on his system. I still get my crunch, he told me, but now it comes without the worry. This doesn't mean sunflower seeds are terrible for everyone. If you still enjoy them, think small. A teaspoon or two as a rare treat won't likely cause harm. And always opt for unsalted, dry-roasted varieties, steering clear of the flavored ones with extra salt and sugar. The key takeaway? Even something as small as a sunflower seed can have a big impact if eaten without care. As always, balance and mindfulness are your best tools. And now, let's talk about one last trendy seed that might not be as healthy as it seems: chia seeds. Chia seeds have become quite the trend in recent years. You'll find them in smoothies, sprinkled on oatmeal, and even in those little pudding cups in the health food aisle. They look innocent enough, tiny, black, and tasteless, but for those of us over 65, chia seeds may not always be the gentle health boost they're made out to be. One of the main concerns is how much chia seeds expand. When mixed with liquid, they swell up and form a gel-like coating. While this might be good for feeling full, it can also pose a choking risk, especially if not soaked properly. I remember Mrs. Jean from our gardening club. She once shared that she tried eating a spoonful of dry chia seeds with just a sip of water. Not long after, she felt tightness in her chest and had trouble swallowing. It was a scary moment. Thankfully, she was okay, but it was a wake-up call for her and all of us. Chia seeds are also very high in fiber. Now, fiber can be great for digestion, but only when paired with plenty of water. Without enough fluids, that fiber can sit heavy in the stomach, leading to bloating, gas, and discomfort. For someone who's already dealing with a sensitive digestive system, this can turn a health snack into a troublesome one. Another point to be aware of is blood pressure. Chia seeds may slightly lower blood pressure, which sounds helpful. But if you're already taking medication to manage high blood pressure, adding chia seeds to your routine without guidance could lower your numbers too much. That's why it's always best to check with your doctor before adding them regularly to your diet. Now, not everyone has had a bad experience. Some folks enjoy chia seeds as part of a well-balanced meal. My niece blends them into a smoothie with berries and spinach and says it helps her feel full until lunch. That can be fine, especially if they're soaked ahead of time and used in moderation. So, if you're curious to try chia seeds, start small. Soak a teaspoon in water or milk overnight and stir it into yogurt or porridge. Never eat them dry, and always follow them with plenty of fluids. As with all the foods we've talked about, the message is the same. What works for one person may not work for another. But by staying informed, listening to your body, and making gentle, thoughtful choices, you're already doing something good for yourself. And there you have it, 4 nuts to enjoy and 4 to be cautious with. A little knowledge, a little care, and a lot of heart go a long way to keep you feeling your best every day.